After Alexis went to sleep, and the Grim Reaper reaped her soul, it was safe to say that the Volkov family was no longer in the mood for a vacation. Christopher, hit with the painful realization that his wife, his one true love, his fated mate, was gone forever, and that he was now a widowed man, spent his whole night rampaging, running around Moonwood Mill, howling and shrieking in pain. And the overwhelming stress of seeing her mother's lifeless body wasn't treating our matriarch Autumn well either. Once she got back home, she almost immediately went into labor. Going into labor the night of her mother's death, it was sick. Why does tragedy keep happening to her? How could she possibly give birth for the first time without her mum by her side? She needed her more than anything right now. She had to keep calm, resist the urge to sob uncontrollably, and focus on her son or daughter. Just like how she needs her mum right now, her son or daughter will need theirs once they come out of her womb. She can't grieve now. She has to remember the good. No wonder her mom was saying dark and morbid things during the whole trip. It was because she knew her time was coming. Autumn figured it too, but she didn't think this soon. Not on her child's birthday. Clint, however, wasn't having as much trouble distracting himself. Since he was now a rising star, he was getting a lot of media attention, and a few paparazzi had followed him home from Granite Falls, asking him to talk about his mother's death. Clint said very little. Autumn truly didn't know how she was going to pull through. She had no energy or motivation to give birth. She just wanted to cry. She couldn't accept that her mom was gone. The house felt so empty and quiet. She was used to it feeling chaotic and loud, and she liked it that way. She was worried about Sage, about her siblings, about her dad Chris. Where was he, and how was he handling this? Autumn's obstetrician checked her dilation, only to centimeters. She had a long way to go, and figured she would try to get the baby out as quick as possible. If she focused on getting to 10 centimeters, then her son or daughter will be in her arms sooner, and if her son or daughter was in her arms, she wouldn't have to think about Alexis or Nicole. So sweet of you to think about your younger brother like that. Autumn was going to go on a walk and wanted to be alone. So Shanna got to work on making some potions to help Autumn get through the grieving process. She was so excited that she was now a master and could finally bring Jacob Volkov back to life. She couldn't wait to tell Autumn after she learns the spell. Sage was confused about everything going on, babbling to the obstetrician, and Clint was starting to take his music-making craft very seriously. And since his music was doing so well and he was becoming more and more famous by the day, he no longer saw the point in attending college. Economics bored him anyways. Making music was what truly made him happy. He dropped out and couldn't think of a single reason not to. Sage was being a big boy and going potty by himself for the first time when his grandfather Christopher got back home from his rampage. All he could do was sob under the covers on Alexis's side of the bed, using the last of her scent to comfort himself. Autumn's contractions were getting worse and worse, which made her think of her mother, about how she was able to do this 3 times and give birth to twins at home. This made her realize how strong of a woman she truly was, how courageous and bold she was, just like her wife, Shanna. Could she be like them because she was ready to give up? And she didn't know if it was because of her mom's death or because of the sheer amount of debilitating pain she was in. Nicole is so sweet, checking in on everyone in the family. The last sentiments Alexis and Christopher had about one another that will last for eternity, deeply in love and fated to wed. As much as Chris wanted to get out of bed to check in on Autumn, he couldn't find the strength to move, but luckily, Nicole had broken into the house. Autumn went upstairs to greet her sister, relieved to see her father was back inside the house. Her and Nicole tried comforting each other, talking about Alexis, the great memories they shared of her, how Autumn was in labor, and how they were going to need each other now more than anything. Clint came on over to greet and comfort Nicole as well. It was such a difficult loss for everyone, but at the very least, they have each other, and they'd get through this. Easy for the adopted one to say. Meanwhile, Autumn felt like she was about to burst at any given moment. She knew that her time to push was slowly approaching. Just like how her mother Alexis knew that her death was coming. She headed to her bedroom, alone, and bounced on the yoga ball. It was time to be strong and courageous, just like her mother. Well, it's nice of Patchy to help the grieving family around the house, and Shanna was liking Patchy's idea as well. Shanna already lost her parents and made peace with that. She was really going to have to be there for Autumn. She's been through too much and didn't know how Autumn could bear it. She was going to have a lot to take on. Planning Alexis's funeral, taking care of Sage and the newborn, making sure Autumn can handle postpartum and doesn't fall into a depression like she did. But what worried her the most is Autumn's past, her addiction, and if it was planning on coming back to haunt her during her lowest point. Or Nicole wants to become best friends with Autumn. I've truly never seen Nicole be this nice to anyone ever before. LMAO. Autumn needed a breath of fresh air, so she had the obstetrician check her dilation one more time outside on the patio. It was finally time to deliver the baby. She was relieved, but also sick to her stomach with fear. She was excited, but scared shitless. This is what she wanted, wasn't it? So, why was she so nervous? Women are built for this shit, and that's what she is. A strong, powerful woman, just like her mom. God, her mom. She wished Alexis were here right now. She wished she could be by her side and encourage her as she pushed. She was the one who inspired her to give pregnancy another shot. This wouldn't be happening without her. But now is not the time to grieve, she reminded herself. Her son or daughter is going to be here any minute, and they're gonna need her. So, she sat in the birthing tub with Shanna at her side, found all of her grief and anger, and released it as she began pushing her baby out. Oh, Lily-Ju, you are so incredibly wrong for this. Alexis's body isn't even cold yet, and you're out here making googly eyes at her, man. I think it's safe to say that her and Chris are done. This was terrible. The pain was too much to bear. How did Shanna do this? But Shanna talked her through it, reminding her how much they wanted this. It may have been bumpy, but she made it. She had to hold on. And she did. Autumn has given birth to a baby girl. She was in disbelief, left speechless as the obstetrician gently placed her baby girl into her arms. Autumn gave birth, and to a little girl. Sage has a little sister. She'd finally achieved what she'd dreamt of for so long, and now, her family was complete. But just as Autumn assumed she was about to push out the placenta, she felt the same searing pain she felt just minutes ago all over again. Because Autumn wasn't pregnant with just one baby. She was pregnant with twins. Twin girls.